I've read hundreds of books over the past few years. Some were good, a few were brilliant, but only a handful rewired my brain. These 20 books didn't just change how I think, but they completely reshaped how I design systems, live my life, and make decisions every day. I don't read for entertainment. I read to update my operating system. I use Rewired to resurface highlights, and I journal about what sticks. And I design systems from what I learn so it becomes actions, not just knowledge. This list isn't about hype, it's about the books that changed my life, and they might change yours too. So my first section is system thinking and mental models, and my first book is Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. This book taught me about how feedback loops, delays, and leverage points drive outcomes in the real world, both personal and global. The second book in the systems category is The Fifth Discipline by Peter Senge. This book showed me that personal growth is all about updating your systems and that how most people don't integrate learning into their life. The final book in the systems thinking and mental models section is The Great Mental Models by Shane Parrish. This book for me was mental leverage, and it helped me simplify complexity and spot patterns faster. So the next section is Human Behaviour and Fallibility, and the absolute best book in this section is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This book is brutal but essential. I realised that I'm not as rational as I think I am and how to work around that. The next book in this section is The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt. So this book changed how I see politics, tribalism, and how people can justify anything. It helped me get less angry at the world. And the final book in this section is called Stubble and Focus by Johan Hari. This book completely changed how I view screen time and addiction in general. This book was a wake-up call for me. It wasn't just about attention, but it was about the system behind it that was eating it. The next section is Biology, Health, and Evolution, and my first book in this section is The Comfort Crisis by Mike Easter. Now this book gave me the permission to seek discomfort and helped me recognize that growth requires friction. The next book in the section is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and this book shaped how I prioritized rest and biological rhythms. And the final book in this section is Born to Run by Chris McDougall. This book made me question everything I thought I knew about shoes, fitness, and what it means to move in general. And the next section is Foundations for Life Design, and my first book in this section is Atomic Habits. And this seems obvious to me now, but back then a total reframe, systems over willpower. The next book in this section is Deep Work by Cal Newport. This taught me to protect my attention like it was equity. The next book in the section is called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. This book flipped my perspective on money, time, and memories. It made me think in decades and not just short-term goals. And the final book in this section is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman. This was a reality check for me, and it showed me that time management is often existential fear avoidance. So now my next section is sustainability in the bigger picture, and the first book in this section is The Limits to Growth by Donella Meadows. This helped me see the patterns in global collapse and personal burnout. And the final book in this section is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and this book made me realize that how we feel about risk is often more important than how smart we are. Now the final section is about personal transformation and identity, and the first book in this section is David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. This book pushed me, it shows me what is possible, and it told me that I'm only operating at 50% of my capacity. The next book is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. This book still hits hard, especially when I find myself chasing status in a clever disguise. The next book is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. This book gave me the clearest articulation of leverage, wealth, and designing a life of clarity and autonomy. And then my final book is Masters of Change by Brad Sternberg. This book completely rewired how I think about identity. It helped me see that adaptability isn't weakness, it's a system, and it taught me to embrace rugged flexibility and evolve through rupture, not just push through it. These aren't just books that I read, they're tools that I use every day. They've shaped how I build my health systems, how I show up as a dad, how I make money, how I protect my peace, how I think about the future. If something in your life feels noisy, broken, or stuck, start with better input. Books are the quietest, most powerful mentors I've ever found. So if you want to go deeper on these, I'll be breaking down my favorite takeaways from each one in future videos. If you're into building your life from first principles and lived experience, not just trends, don't forget to check out this video here and drop your life-changing books in the comments. I'm always reading. Cheers.